Iran abolishes morality police. Prosecutor General. Iran has scrapped its morality police after more than 2 months of protests triggered by the arrest of Mahsa Amini for allegedly violating the country's strict female dress code, local media said Sunday. That's an unusual way to spell murder. Can't wait for tomorrow's article. Iran establishes the ethics patrol. In all likelihood they will have just renamed them to something else if the article holds any substance at all. Dictatorships tend not to do away with systems of control. This, as well as removing the hijab enforcement at this point, seem like minor points, albeit positive ones. What with the death sentences and torture that mostly women have been subjected to, it seems the regime has gone so far that it might be impossible to recover any trust from the population even with these gestures. I'll need more than a one-sentence article. It solves nothing. Whether they are truly abolished or just renamed, it's bigger than just the hijab now. Now introducing mechanized morality brigades. I see Russians offered them some advice about boiling frogs. They're scared. Keep going. It's a dictatorship. They will implement it again over time once demonstrations calm down. It's the laws that need to be scrapped, not just the enforcers. Look who's scared of his people. No more morality police. Say hello to the new morality moles. Completely new thing entirely. The question is, what do you do when you realize you can't just kill everyone under 30? They will just move that role in with the normal police. They're still kidnapping attractive girls to punish and rape them though. Farnoosh Esmi was just kidnapped yesterday. This article is very misleading. The Prosecutor General has vaguely said that he does not know about the morality police because it's not his job. The morality police vans have not been seen around the country, but that's because the government has deployed literal armed forces instead. It's all because of the active protests. The law is still the same. There has not been any official statements about this. Not to be cynical, but they'll bring it back when this dies down. Authoritarians never keep their word. I'm reading this with a kernel of hope and a crop of doubt. Oh cool, I hear the Decency Guard just got formed. That's nice, bet they are much better. Great, what's the new name going to be? As an Iranian, I can tell we love people from all nations and we are going to kick the Islamic government and the dictator out of our country. Hopefully we can have freedom and peace with other nations. God bless you all. It is a Putin-like ceasefire approach. Russian and Chinese masters are providing guidelines to the regime. Too little too late. Keep pushing, Iranians. Consolation reforms are a sign of weakness. I sure hope that happened, but I wouldn't be surprised to see the former officers continue to enforce their twisted view of morality on others. That's not enough to quell the revolution. The regime killed so many people and now it has to pay for that. It's too late for the regime, it likely won't survive. It crossed too many red lines. To be replaced with the "we are not the morality police." The morality police will be privatized, renamed, and hired as a security contractor by the government. As an Iranian, let me make it clear, morality police was established 2 decades ago while mandatory hijab has been enforced by law since 4 decades ago. And protests is not about hijab anymore. It is about whole regime. Please follow our new Iran so you can get more information on Iran protests and find ways to help Iranians overthrowing their regime. Morality police have nothing to do with the judiciary and have been abolished, Attorney General Mohammad Jafar Montazeri was quoted as saying by the ISNA news agency. Now please welcome Abdallah Haji, our chief of the newly created Decency, Virtue, and Ethics Department. So stop protesting and keep the dictatorship or. Next week Iran creates morality police. Most likely a BS move from the regime to distract people temporarily and cool things down. From my experience living in a totalitarian regime, this is a half-assed measure that they can roll back anytime later in the future, after they got the protest situation under control. Remember how the Taliban promised school for girls before taking power, and not too long after getting back in power, reneged on their promise anyway? If this is true, double down on the protests. They're working. This is regime propaganda. No actual indication the work of the morality police has stopped. Press X to doubt. It's likely just a ploy to calm down the protests. It's certainly not a sign that opinions in the leadership has changed. They've murdered thousands of their own people over this issue. I don't believe for a second that they're actually caving. Keep protesting, until the regime is gone, or you will never get back to what you had. Narrator: they did not. They're fucking lying. It's just their attempt at PR.
Oh wow, this is great news.
Please tell me there's not some sneaky trick or dark side to this. Another rebranding: they just enforced hardcore veil wearing whilst the protests are ongoing. Doubling down, stupid TBH. They'll always have some sort of free-range assholes to fill in. Abolishes morality police and replaces them with Iranian military. They will now be known as the police. Not true. It's what an official has said at an event. It isn't an official announcement. I'll believe it when I see it. Only overthrowing the government and establishing a true democracy will be a full solution. Obviously, this is very difficult to achieve, but hopefully Iran will earn its independence from this oppressive regime in the near future. They finally realize the whole world sees them as insecure betas. Which they still are. Going forward, any country that have literal fashion police to keep women dressing a certain way are beta bitches. Especially when they're so pathetic they kill unarmed teenage girls out of fear for their hair. Nope, the entire regime needs to go. Christian nationalists take note. People aren't fans of being forced to live by the religious codes of others. Nice, if actually true. But these protests have evolved into way more than head coverings. Not sure it's possible to put the genie back in the bottle. HR memo: morality police will be converted to the Ministry of Culture Preservation. That is all. Abolishing the morality police doesn't abolish the archaic laws they are enforcing. False propaganda. This story is false. Nah, it's well beyond that. They've been killing protesters and coming down in force in response to this. This farce won't stop the protests. Nor should it. And replaced it with what, exactly? PFF. I don't fucking trust them. In name. They did something similar to calm the protesters years ago, then cracked down hard a couple months later. Huge win, but still not enough. Fuck off religious fundamentalism. 1. First they ignore you. 2. Then they laugh at you. 3. Then they fight you. 4. Then you win. We are entering step 4. No such announcement was made. The prosecutor Montazeri simply responded to a question that the police rather than the judiciary has control over the morality police and launches and shuts it themselves, and that they continue to monitor behavior. So, zero compromises made by those evil fuckers after 3 months of killing, rape, and terror. No, they won't. They will just rebrand them. Before everybody rejoices, remember the Chika become Ogpu became the NKVD became the KGB. Duties to be assumed by the army. The state has generously decided to no longer harass, arrest, rape and occasionally kill you for dress code violations. Anyway, let's just chalk this up as lessons were learned, and never speak of it again. Everyone please go home now. If things keep going at this rate, we'll have to start telling our own theocrats to move to Qatar instead of Iran. We are introducing the new moral special forces. I wonder what they will put in place instead. I don't care what they will call it. It will still be the same. Murder is murder. Girls will still be able to go to school and keep jobs. Taliban. Nah, they didn't. This should be blatantly obvious that this is a PR move, and by no means are they actually abolishing them, they're likely rebranding them. Let in reporters from other countries to see what's going on in the country and prisons, and then we'll know if this is actually true. I guarantee it isn't. Great, now they can just terrorize people at will without having an officially title or accountability. They'll just go underground and become a secret police, used against dissenters and activists. This news has been debunked as state propaganda. They have not abolished the morality police. Do not let this PR stunt distract you. They are waiting for the world to stop watching. That's the best news I've heard in a really long time. Perhaps years. Congratulations to all you unbelievably brave women and men fighting for freedom. Smoke and mirrors. Protesters should not be fooled by this bullshit attempt at appeasement. There is no middle ground, and there is no stopping this revolution until satanic regime of Iran is completely obliterated. Other articles contradicting this.